Hello, I'm Lise Colucci, and I'm one of the life coaches at queenbeing.com, where we help you to discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. I got to turn that off. There it goes. Hello and welcome. And how is everyone today? Happy Tuesday. We're going to talk today about 50 signs that you're in an emotionally abusive relationships, or 50 symptoms of being in an emotionally abusive relationship. And we'll get started with that in just a second. If you guys need any help with anything regarding narcissistic abuse, head over to queenbeing.com and check it out. Oh, my dog in the room. Okay. Oh, that was crazy. All right. And if you need any help with coaching, hey, dogs, I think that it might get noisy in just a second. I didn't time this very well, you guys. All right, hang on. Hey, guys, come here. Let's relax. Oswald, no. Okay, let's start over. Hello, let's get going with emotionally abusive relationships and the signs that you may be in one. Okay, we're just going to start. If you need any help with anything regarding coaching or group coaching, check out the information in the main description of every video. I'm available around. If you have any questions, you can email me, Coach Lise, CoachLise, @gmail.com. And I think that's it. If you would like texting notification of my going live, text me at 33, Ruby in the corner being held there. Text me at 33222 and put the word Lise live, LISE, and hit send. So, okay, let's get started with the 50 signs. 1, you walk on eggshells. We all know what that's like, right? That's enough said. Walking on eggshells, you feel like you can say nothing right, and anything you say could set off the other person in a direction that is not exactly positive. Hello, Frankendoll and Janine and Svenusha. Hello. Walking on eggshells, big old sign that something is going on in your relationship. Hello, Bonnie. Number 2, you're confused by any conflict because it feels, what did I say here? It feels like your reality is being twisted. So you're being gaslighted, right? You feel like you don't know what's right or wrong. You don't know what you argued about. You don't even remember how you feel about something because what you've been told you feel is wrong. And you feel manipulated into feeling sorry for the other person. You're confused by any conflict. Okay. Hello, Shastina and Anime. This is my introduction to healing. Oh, okay. All those confused feelings explained. Here we go then. Sorry to have to break the news, but it's good to hear it, right? Okay. You are required to, okay, I have to bring this closer to my eyeballs today. You're required, or you have the need to constantly be checking in with the other person, to constantly be telling them where you are. If you're 5 minutes late, if you're 10 minutes late, whatever it is, constantly having to let them know what's going on, or else. Not out of polite courtesy, I'm going to be a few minutes late, but you feel like if you don't do that, something bad is going to happen. There's like a sense of dread when you're checking in very anxiously. Oh, Jeannie. I do know you, and I'm always pronouncing names wrong, so I'm sorry. Y'all have different names in my head. Okay, so sorry. All right. Oh, no. Hey, you guys, we don't need to do that. They're having conflict. All right. Whoa. Okay. You feel like you were in the Matrix. Memories are hard to recover because the narcissist will gaslight you and say that your memory was wrong. Yep, that's right. All right. So the checking in. Number 4, you feel sad when your partner cracks jokes because they feel like attacks. So you kind of, your sense of humor gets warped, and maybe you don't even really have one anymore. I know I completely lost my sense of humor, if you can believe it. Completely gone. Didn't laugh for years. So yeah, grumpy girl. So out of character behavior with your humor and your moods, right? Hey, Oswald, I think I need to find something for you to do. I may need to step away a moment, you guys. He's not having it today. He is not having it. Okay, we're just gonna keep going. All right. So jokes feel like attacks, and you can't tell if you're being too sensitive or they are attacks. Just something feels off with any joke coming at you from your partner, and you feel like the humor in the relationship is something's wrong with it. All right. Number 5. You've lost your sense of humor and fighting to get it back, and trying to get it back. It comes back it came back for me just getting away from it, and then suddenly there I was. All right. All right. If it feels like an attack, the damage is done, and thus it functions as an attack. Exactly. Those covert joke attacks, right? She would literally say, just to end the argument, "You're wrong." Okay, right? You're just wrong. All right. Howdy, Bonnie and Darla. Hello. And Mo Cowboy and Frankendall and DK. Hello, hello. Okay, so you apologize when you've done nothing wrong. When you are completely clear, not saying that you always think you did nothing wrong, saying that you're thinking about it, you're going, what did I even do? How did that turn into that? But you still find yourself apologizing for the unknown thing. Hi, Jeep and Gypsy. Are you in here twice? Okay. Maybe not. All right. Yeah. So you're apologizing for things when you did nothing wrong. The topic, Darla, is 40 signs or 40 symptoms of emotional abuse. All right. Number 6, you are constantly trying to fix things because it feels like your partner shuts down and then comes back. There's hot and cold something going on, and you don't understand it, and so you think it's you, and you're trying to fix it. Maybe you see it's them, but often, at least in the beginning when we first have this happen, because it comes after when the devaluing starts, which we're so used to the love bombing that by then it's confusing and it feels like it's our fault, right? So you are trying to fix things to make that warm come back, because the cold, it was clearly something you've done, right? So, or you just notice the hot and cold behavior and it's confusing and you don't know what to do with it. All right. Or frustrating or annoying. It can be all kinds of feelings you have when you notice hot and cold behavior. All right. You apologize even if you aren't wrong, just to keep the peace. Yep, that too. Just to keep the peace. All right. Number 7. There's a hypervigilance over the emotional state of the other person. You are constantly trying to manage the world around them so that they don't have a tantrum. You're constantly trying to manage the world around them so they're happy and content, so that they aren't lashing out at you. The fix-it syndrome, right? And this is also part of the fix-it syndrome, right? We're having to manage if you're managing your relationship, not in a relating relationship, something's off, regardless of abuse. So you're having to manage down things, and you're having to manage, basically you're constantly having to think about and consider the emotional state of another person. And I'm not saying that we should always be considering the emotional state of our partner, not in that way. Consider, be concerned about, be anxious over, be worried about, and then trying to manage and fix the other person's emotional state, because something bad will happen. All right. Darla says, I get told, I say I'm sorry too much. Well, we're going to get to that one too. I suffer from hypervigilance even after being away from my abuser. And you can see, Shoshi, how that is set up, because you spend years. It's the only way to have a relationship like that and manage it and manage to cope and survive in it without the attacks constantly coming. So yeah, we get trained. Our brains are trained to do that. That it takes breaking it. I think I just did a video a week or 2 ago about hypervigilance, so that might help if you haven't seen that. It does. Mo Cowboy says it creates total exhaustion, physical and mental, beyond exhaustion, total wipeout. Yep. Walked on eggshells big time, sucked. Hello, Belle. Hello, hello, hello. And they're never considering yours. No, they're not considering yours. They might consider yours only to manipulate you, but they're not considering it in a considerate way, right? Okay, you suffer from crushing and constant second guessing. So crippling. We're going to get to that too. So let's keep going. Number 8, you feel like your partner is not seeing any good in you at all and belittles your accomplishments. So this is, part of the devaluing. You feel like no matter how hard you try, you're not enough, and what you're doing isn't good enough. Number 9, you feel like, with sex, you feel like you're having sex against your will, or pressured into doing things that cross your boundaries in a sexual way. Or number 10, you are made to feel dirty and wrong for wanting sex that will never come. That was really bad wording. That will never happen. Sorry. You just seen my humor. Okay. So you're made to feel dirty or wrong for wanting sex when they're withholding. And they're withholding on purpose. It's all about control with them, right? And sex. So if it's not a romantic partnership, maybe it's something else where they're trying to control you. But you're made to feel wrong for wanting affection. Let's put it that way. Okay. Did I make you laugh? Good. Gotta laugh a little. That's what she said. Yes, you guys. Okay. Hi, Glitter Girl. Pretends to gasp in abject horror. Okay. Okay. Now I just want to laugh. Okay. Let's get serious again. All right. Okay. Another sexual one. You have lost any communication or connection. In other words, you're dissociating when you are intimate. There's a lot of dissociation going on. Now, this can happen for personal reasons too, but this is all in conjunction with other things. So if one of these things is happening, it can happen. But if lots of these things are happening, something is off in the relationship, okay? All right, number 12 rather. You seem kind of spacey and dissociated when there's any stress. Of course, that can happen to anyone with PTSD or anyone whose nervous system is wound up or who's anxious or, but with everything else in combination, you feel like you just can't handle any stress and you just dissociate from it. All right. Number 13, you are making excuses. This is a big one. And we do it all the way through the trauma bonds. And this is the last thing people let go of sometimes. In order to heal, we have to let this piece go. And it can be one of the harder ones. You're making excuses and rationalizing the abusive behavior. Making excuses for the toxic person and rationalizing their abusive behavior. We are empathic people usually, and we can see other people's pain. We listen to what they say. We know their stories, and we feel for their stories. And so, of course, there's a reason they're acting the way they're acting. There's never an excuse for it. But there's some sort of rationalization that goes on there that keeps us in a state of cognitive dissonance. So when you're doing that, you're in a state of cognitive dissonance, and you're in a state of, you're trapped in trauma bonding. So yeah. Okay. I literally felt no connection to him. Last time we were together, I felt like I wasn't even there. It felt like he couldn't see me. Yes. The last time I remember, I felt like a mannequin. And I just was like, wow, I'm literally just watching this person do this. That is gross. There's no connection. Okay. Okay. Yes. Rationalizing their abusive behaviors. Say, oh, they're probably just having a bad day. Oh, I know that this is a trigger for them. And so they've been triggered. And so I should, you know what? We all need to learn to manage our triggers. That's why I do so many talks on triggers. It's not just to help you move through them. It's so that you can learn to manage them so that you're healthy in your relationships later on, right? In any relationship you have, so that you're not the one saying, oh, I have a trigger, you can't do that. We have to be able to manage them and manage our own emotions. A narcissist will not be accountable for their own emotions. So anytime they have a trigger or they have a reaction to something, basically what they're having is they're being forced to look at themselves for real. And they don't like it. And so, but anyway, we make excuses. Yeah. All right. Is it possible for one to lose their empathic nature as a result of post-narcissistic relationship abuse? Yes. The behavior, the empathy is still there. The behavior, the desire to feel it you shut down. If your emotions are shut down, your empathy is going to feel less close to you. Does that make sense? Like if you're in shock, like if something is super shocking, you can't react emotionally to anyone. You're in shock, right? That's kind of what it's like. You're in shock. You're numbed up. You're dissociated. You're kind of numb. You're not even really often in touch with anything except now my dog has a toy. Ruby, that is not the right time for this. Sorry. It's one of those days. I went too late, but it's okay. We're all here. Okay. So if that makes sense. So yes, and it will come back as you reintroduce yourself to your feelings and you get closer to yourself and you come back to yourself and become who you are again. And you get to know yourself again and you, and the feelings. So good feelings are as painful as bad feelings when you're traumatized, right? It's hard to feel if you shut down the bad. If you shut down and block, if you're with a narcissist still and you're having to self-protect by dissociating and blocking your emotions from being felt, like shoving it down, basically stifling them. Hey, Rue, come here, Rue. If you're doing that, it's not, you can't shut off one piece of emotional experience and then have the other still be there. So it's, hey, Ruby, come here. This is crazy time. You guys, come here. You stay with me. So you can't shut down the bad. Block yourself away from the bad feeling emotions and maintain connection to the good ones for very long. And then the feeling of empathy. I mean, it's kind of like indifference. You're indifferent to everything. So as you wake up the feelings again, and as you come back into your emotions, and when you heal, the empathy comes back, okay? Or the feeling of empathy comes back. But what I guess I mean is, can one regain their empathic abilities? Yes. This is what, sorry, I take a really long time to get to the point sometimes, especially when I'm distracted by barking. So yeah, yes, it can come back. Like I said, as your emotions wake back up and you become, when you're able to cope with the way it feels and what you're feeling and experience your feelings again, then your connection to your empathy can return as well. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, I got that out in one. I don't even know where I am now. What are we saying here? You cooked and left a lot of grease in the oven. Your husband didn't rage, but he repeats and repeats how gross it is. Oh, of course. Asked me to clean the racks. I feel awful. How not to? How not to? You recognize his reaction is over the top and ridiculous and rude. And you don't respond to that. All right. Lise, I nearly sent you a message to someone from the UK. This message, remember, is negative. Oh, good. Okay. Let's see. I like Mo Cowboys. Don't cook anymore. That's a good answer. Right? Okay. Hi, Jack. I'm a good influence and a good inspiration. Well, thank you. I thought it said reminder of how not to be. There's that too. Once in a while. Okay. That's funny. I was going to say, okay, what do I do now? All right. Okay. Let's keep going. I've not spoken to him for a couple of years. You broke up. What is wrong with me? Let me reread what you said. You nearly sent a message to someone you planned to marry. It brought you back to sanity. And then the topic, thank you. What's wrong with you? What do you feel is going on? What do you think's going on there, Belle? I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I think you have abuse in your life and your emotions you're an emotionally giving and loving person. And so it's very difficult to navigate. Okay. Okay. You're making excuses. I said that. Number 14. You dread holidays or plans because of the fear of sabotage. Yeah. You dread doing anything or planning anything, going anywhere. Number 15, you feel like your insecurities are being used against you. You feel like your vulnerabilities that you've exposed to this person are being used against you. All right. You become afraid to share who you are. because of this. Number 16, you are desperately trying to get the old way of the relationship back. You're desperately trying to get it back to the beginning, to get it back to when it felt nice, when everything was wonderful. You're trying to bring the love bombing back, and you're desperately trying, you feel like it's your fault that it's not there and that things have changed. Okay. You dread going to see people. That's true too. Okay. And there is nothing wrong with you. That's says Justina. Nothing. Okay. Trying to get the love bombing back. Yeah, because the opposite side is total devalue. Who wants that? Okay, number 17, you are soothing the abuser after mistreatment. So you are the one fawning and soothing and calming the waters after the person mistreats you. All right. I get into the groove. I'm on number 13 and can identify all of them from different partners of my last boss. Ugh, right? I feel like whenever I have a sparkle of joy and happiness again, in any way, it's confusing. You feel like I will never have. Well, honey, you're in the middle of it, right? So the joy you have, keep for yourself. Do not share with the toxic person, as you know. And when you do find little sparkles, write them down. Find a way to remember them, okay? Because they're there. You have moments where you giggle and you laugh a little bit, right? Find them. Hold them. They're important. They keep you remembering who you are. Okay. Always apologizing when should have been apologizing. He should have been apologizing to me. Correct. But we know they don't. And when they do, it's fake. And there's some catch. Okay. They've always I've done that unknowingly. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Totally makes sense. That's exactly. Whoa, wait a minute. What did I just watch? I can remember saying, yes, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry I was so rude. And as I'm saying it inside, I'm thinking, what? What are you sorry for, girl? You did nothing. And I'm not one to not admit when I mean, it's hard to admit sometimes when you do something wrong, but I'll do it, and yeah. Okay. Number 18, you can't talk about issues within the relationship. You cannot bring up an issue, even a tiny one, even a teeny tiny issue. You can't say, hey, can you stay home this weekend? I need some help doing this, and this. And they say, but I wanted to see my friends. And you can't say, you know what, you see your friends all the time. Or do you think you could do that you can't say anything. I mean, that's just the most minor thing I could think of. You can't say anything that's an issue within the relationship without it backfiring, without it becoming a huge issue, without being gaslit, without having projection thrown all over you. And you feel like, oh, Ruby, you feel like squeak, like you can't, you're not heard and you can't resolve anything. So everything feels unresolved. I think one of the major reasons that we leave toxic relationships with narcissistic people and we feel the lack of closure is because of this. It's because we've spent years, months, years, often, years and years often, never being able to discuss or have a rational and useful conversation or a conversation that leads to anything mutually discussed, right? There's never closure. We don't have closure from day one with any conflict, any dispute, any debate, any difference ever. So yeah, it's really hard to find closure at the end when there's never closure within the relationship. Okay, so really what we're basically saying is it ended the way it's gone. And we need to find closure in that. We need to find closure elsewhere. That's another topic. Anyway, on to this. Okay, totally. I'm so familiar with that whole apologizing and taking the blame. At the same time, my brain is going, what the? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Bringing up relationship issues is the forbidden zone, correct? Correct. Or anything that is not glowing and positive about the narcissist, correct? It's never any back and forth discussion with a narcissist. Nope. Or there's back and forth. It's just a competitive tug of war, right? No, I know what you mean. Nothing productive. Yes, because we get to the point where each angle we think of, we can't see any way to get through to them. We can't. There is no way. That's why. It's because they're always diverting and they're always deflecting. And when it's your parent, you've literally never felt closure. Yes. Yes. So maybe that's a word we need to not have in our, maybe that's a need we don't need to try to find in the way we think it is. We need to restate it. And maybe I should do one on closure soon again, if I can remember. Oh, now she's taking my rug. She's put the ball under the rug so that she can like dig it back up. And now she got the squeaky one. Okay, I'm going to keep going. All right. Yes, they've turned on you. Okay, if I miss anything, you guys, you're chatting a lot, so that's great. But I may miss something. Okay. Is playing cat and mouse a narcissistic trait when early stages of general dating? Yes, it can be. Do you mean chase and like push you away, pull you back, or catch you and then ignore you? Totally is. Yes. You've given myself closure. Yes. Peace to be okay with knowing things will never change. That's it. Total acceptance of the truth. That's the closure. Total acknowledgement that this is what it is and it has nothing to do with me. This is how this person is. It's not going to make you feel like 100% better, but it can stop that cycle of needing something from them. We don't need anything from them. That's the point. We don't need closure from them. They can't give it to us anyway because they are not accountable. They can't. So we have to find some other way. They can't have an adult discussion because they're literally 4 years old. Correct. Yep, closure gets my vote. Okay. Just got to get me on a closure thing and I'll do it. All right. Okay, let's keep going. You feel like the conversation is shut down and you are unheard. So you feel like you'll have conversations and you're never heard. You feel in your life like no one hears you. Let's put it that way. It starts to get where it bleeds out into everything. You feel like no one hears you at a certain point. If you've had this long enough, you feel like you're never heard. So many people will come for coaching, and I see it more in group coaching because there's more of a dynamic there where people don't feel heard by one another, even though I can see they're being heard. And it's very hurtful to the person. And it's a really tricky one because we're just never been heard. If you had narcissistic parents and you had a narcissistic partner, you've never been heard. And so to be heard to you, you don't even, I mean, you may know what it is, but it's the concept of having it coming towards you is completely foreign, and you have to learn what being heard is. And we also, within a group like that, where everyone is in various stages of abuse healing or healing from abuse, then sometimes people don't have the capacity to listen at that moment. And, so it's tricky. It's tricky to not feel not heard after toxic relationships. And when you're in them, and when you're in them or you're just newly out of them, that can be a big one. Hello, Jesse. Good day to you too. Excuse me. Luna says, yes, both mixed message and the ghost you out of the blue. Yep. Then you thought things were okay. It's left me trauma bonded big time. Okay. In new dating relationships, someone does that, they're out. They're out. They get one chance, in my opinion, for a dang good reason. And they do it again, they're out. And even then, I don't know that I'd bother with an excuse or a reason. It would have to be provable and pretty darn good. But yeah, that's a big red flag. Okay. Funny, I made the list titled What I Don't Have to Deal With Again. And almost everyone so far is on that list. My list has over 200 bullets. I should have just asked you for your list and streamed off that. Right? Okay. Because I only got 40. But I also thought 40 will fill an hour. If I do more than that, it will be on here all day. All right. And I would like dinner tonight. I don't know about you guys. So, all right. Remember, when other survivors are numb, it doesn't mean they aren't there for you. Excuse me. I'm going to mute and cough. Because I can do that. Oh, no. You know what? I'm not even going to do that. Because if I do, I probably will just stay muted. As we know lately, as I keep getting muted. I better keep talking because I may get muted. All right. Okay, let's keep going. Where are we? 20 something. 22. No, 21. You feel like you're being treated nicer when you're out in public or with a group of people or with friends. And like, it's a totally, you don't understand. You feel confused why you're not treated the same way at home. At home, you're treated aloof, rudely, cruelly, ignored, things like that. You're being abused in private. You're being gushed over and fawned over and love bombed in public. So that can feel like it is. Often people feel like it's something they've done, something they're doing, something's wrong with them. Okay. So where I have learned to cross the line big time, learning how to self-love and set boundaries. And that's perfect. And that is what dating can help with if you're doing it. If you're not doing it, don't worry about it. That's where being around other people, let's put it that way, can help. It's not, if you're out and you're trying to date or you're out making friends and you find that you're bumping into a bunch of red flags that are pretty significant, multiple red flags in one person is significant, right? Or the person just, or it isn't working for you for some reason like that. That's how you learn how to have boundaries. So it's not a failure and it's not that you're attracting it. It's just that sometimes we got to play it out and see what happens and then move on, right? And then we learn that we don't have to be around that. Okay. In the discard, I was always ignored in public. There's that too. Oh, that's horrible, isn't it? You're feeling completely like you don't have a place in public. It's horrible. All right. Thank you for this 40. You're welcome. This was your suggestion, Moat Cowboy. I think you said 50, but I got to 40 and I said, oh, page is full. I'm done. All right. I'm going to keep going. Where are we? Number 22, right? You're begging them to talk or you're fawning them to end the silence. So you're going around apologizing, begging, bringing cups of tea, you're making dinner, you're doing all the things to make them stop being silent. That's on. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Number 23. You feel like you are too sensitive. You feel like something's wrong with you because you're just too sensitive and you should be able to take it. And you're just, yeah. Okay. We all know how that is. Number 24, you can't express your true feelings. Because if you do, you feel like you're worried, you're scared, you'll be belittled, minimized, ignored, or neglected. Those feelings will be, or twisted around and told they're wrong. Okay. So you feel like you can't express yourself. You can't be yourself. What I'm getting at here, you can't be yourself when you're with a toxic person. Everything changes to manage that relationship. If you're managing your relationship and you are no longer yourself, regardless of whether it's toxic, it's something to look at. Okay. Number 25, you are jealous. And you have never been jealous in your life before, or maybe minimally, like a little like, oh, a little jealous, but you are seriously jealous. You are feeling like they're looking at everybody else. Like you feel crazy when you're not used to feeling that and you suddenly do. You feel like something's wrong with you. All right. You couldn't express your feelings, your real feelings. Yeah. And then dump the tea on it. Right? Right. Okay. You feel like you're being compared all the time. Like you feel judged and big time. You feel judged and you feel like you're being like, and this carries over too for a lot of survivors, that they feel like everyone is judging them and everyone is comparing them to everybody else. And they're not this ties into your self-worth, your sense of self, your sense of belonging, all of that. So you feel compared. Okay. You are out. What did I say? You're cut off and isolating. You're cut off and isolated, or you're cut off and isolating. Either you feel like the person isn't they aren't allowing you to have a life, but you are isolated from your friends and family. You are isolated. They hate your sister. Nothing's wrong with your sister, but they hate that sister. So you can't be around that sister or talk to that sister or about that sister. So you've just been cut off from one source of support and love in your life. So if you are feeling like you are in a soul relationship with one person and there are no other people involved in your life, something's off there. Okay. Jealousy. I was always told I will always be looking over your shoulder. Yeah. And they're jealous too, right? That's true too. It can go the other way. You feel like you're always having to play yourself down. This isn't on my list. So here's 41 at the end, tack it in the middle, and I don't know what number we're on. Okay. You're having to play yourself down so you're not making the other person have to feel so jealous. All right. You feel like your bubble is being burst all the time and you make sure your bubble doesn't even fill. That's right. You feel like walking on emotional eggshells when wanting to rightly communicate your worries and anxieties, thereby losing your assertion and any semblance of clarity. Correct. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Number 27. Oh, I did that one. Number 28. You are constantly protecting their ego. Somebody might say, yeah, I know how they are. And you say, oh, no, they're fine. They just have, you're again, rationalizing and making excuses, but it's literally to protect their ego. Number 29. You feel totally and solely responsible for making things good in the relationship. You may want them to fix certain things about themselves, but ultimately it's on you. You're the one, you feel you're the one that can make things better. Just a little more love, just a little more understanding. I'm not being this enough. I'm not being that enough. If I would change this, how many of you, hi Faith, hey, okay, how many of you have spent a few months, a year, a couple years doing your own therapy, researching what's wrong with you, looking into things that you could be doing in the relationship, wondering, seeing that you're codependent or that you are behaving in people-pleasing ways, let's put it that way. Seeing that you're people-pleasing, looking up ways to heal codependency, people-pleasing behaviors, blah, 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 thinking that if you just changed you and put in the work for you, that it would fix the relationship. How many of you looked up attachment theory, adult attachment theory, and thought, oh, I'm an anxious attached. Well, no wonder I'm pushing them away. Anyone would push away from that, So that's a sign that something's up. When both people aren't working to resolve their own personal stuff, then something's going on, right? It made me feel crazy. It does. It makes you feel crazy. And you have a library of self-help books. I think that's it's one of the more telling things, right? Okay. Feel like 24/7 mama to them. So truly. So all my narc accused me of being also accused me of being a sociopath. That's projection. Yeah, projection. Yeah, that's the next one I'm about to say. So can I confirm this? It's total projection. Total projection. Because it was a he. They were probably told somewhere in their past that they're a sociopath. So that word has stuck in their head, or they've questioned it and looked it up and wondered that about themselves. Word is stuck in their head, and now they project it every time they need to. In other words, I'm gonna call you that before you call me that, and then I can point the finger and say, "Don't copy." Right? I'm gonna get you first. If I call you that first, then I don't have to own it. When your mama keeps telling you to fix yourself, you spend your life, twisted into pretzels to find approval you never get. When all we really need to do is find the approval of ourself within ourself, right? Hard stuff. Okay. All right. Number 30. You're feeling like you are the abuser. You are told you have the qualities that the abuser possesses. You're being projected upon and you believe it. You question it. Maybe they don't use the words like Luna said, you're a sociopath. Maybe they don't use the words, but they're describing the behaviors and projecting it onto you. And you believe it. You start looking up different things that you could be because you're being told you're those things. Okay. I went to CODA, anger management, and antidepressants to be less angry therapy. Okay. Yep. Okay. 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 I was always anxious when he was at family gatherings. It's horrible, isn't it? Ugh. I've been in therapy for so long to fix me. Took a photo from a few years ago and compared it to today. No sparkle left. Stolen. Oh, we want your sparkle back. Anxiety, number 31, anxiety. You got anxiety all the time. You got anxiety when you think about the relationship, or you're out in life, you're doing fine, you come home, getting ready, they're coming over, they're coming home in 10 minutes, the anxiety hits. You think of them, the anxiety hits. When you have a partner that is loving and caring and healthy for you, when you think of them, your heart expands and it feels lovely. When you have a partner, often, maybe not always, we do have trauma and we do have things we need to heal from. When you are pretty healed or whatever, and you have a partner that is toxic, anxiety. So you feel it. It's your body. Here's number 32. Your body knows. Where's the pain and tension? You feel pain and tension in your body that is unexplainable. All right. Soon to be ex will spend months telling me I'm bipolar, crazy, and then a few months telling me I'm the smartest, most wonderful mother ever. Can't figure it out. Why? Because they're devaluing you and love bombing you through something they know will make you feel, will control how you feel about yourself. They're also projecting onto you because you probably caught them doing something, or they're about to catch them doing something. They're afraid you're going to catch them doing something. And by doing something, it could be anything, right? And so they project first. They get you first. They're in constant offense. They're defensive, and they react defensively through offensive maneuvers. So attack before you're attacked with the projecting a lot of times. And he says, I'm a horrible person because I only believe bad things about him. Well, that's because the bad things can't be made better by a little love bombing. They're still bad things that shouldn't be happening. You can't put a Band-Aid on a giant gaping wound, right? It's just going to bleed out through the Band-Aid. This is what they think, that the love bombing fixes it. And therefore they're a good person and they're fine, right? Because they don't have accountability. Back to that. Are any of the things we do to make things better, fawning in quotes, just positive reinforcement, or will they do what they do no matter what? Do you mean, are any of the things we do to make things better just positive reinforcement, or will they do what they do? They'll do what they do no matter what. And I think with enough of that positive reinforcement, it can keep the relationship status quo, at least to some degree. So it's when we divert from that, being boxed in and controlled like that, the way a narcissist controls you with their devaluing and gaslighting and love bombing and all of the stuff, it makes it so we're constantly pushing the edge to try and get out of it, right? We're trying to have a normal, healthy relationship. We're pushing it, and they don't like that. So then when we do the things to make it better, it's like placating them. It's stroking their ego, basically. So yeah, in the end, they're going to continue to do what they do. It's not going to make it better. So if that's what you're asking, how about how he made me feel like my memory was dwindling as I was, and as well as my levels of intelligence. Was this a symptom of trauma bonding? That is a symptom of devaluing. I mean, that is a sign of devaluing. You're not walking away when someone did that. Someone did that to me right this minute, just walked up and was like, you don't know what you're talking about. That didn't happen. You idiot. I would walk away, but the reason you stayed was the trauma bonding. That experience was a symptom of the devaluing cycle. Was it not a symptom, an example of the devaluing cycle? Okay. Also pushing me to my nth to react after he had spent a year partially trying to hold out. Yeah. Okay. Positive reinforcement for the continued bad actions. Yes, it is. It is positive. It's enabling the bad. When we are fawning and apologizing and accepting them after they treat us. Of course, it's enabling them to continue with the bad behavior. Stopping it though, and giving them the silence and totally gray rocking them doesn't necessarily make the bad behavior go away. That's the thing. You can't train them. All you can do is whatever. We can't teach them, and you teach them to be more cunning. And that's it, because they don't have empathy and they will not take accountability. So, okay, keep going. Oh my gosh, I have so many more. I may have to speed this up here. Okay. Too sensitive, can't express your true feelings. Jealous. I'm over here now. Okay. You feel like you're not enough and can't satisfy the person within the relationship. You feel like within the relationship that you're in, you're just not enough. Number 34. Everything feels like a competition with them. Hey, want to learn to whatever together? I want to learn to play guitar. It's a competition. Hey, I had this thing happen to me. Well, I had that thing happen to me. There's the competition. Everything's a competition with them. And sorry. Focus. Okay. That's what happens in the afternoon. I tried this morning and then I had stuff going on. Morning can be more focused. All right. Okay, number 35. Things you love, you hate doing with them. Perhaps you love hiking. Suddenly, you don't even want to go hiking. You don't want to go with them. You don't want to do it with them because they destroy it. Okay. And it makes you hate the things you love. Our brains associate it with, I suddenly don't like that thing, when really it's, I don't like it with them because they're toxic to me when we're doing the thing. Okay. What do you say? My boss gave me an article about being codependent. He thought my issue was with my friends and family. Of course it's with everybody else. Right. Okay. Okay. Did I miss anything? Okay. If I did, please just retype it. Okay. I'm going to keep going because 47 minutes here. All right. You are afraid of making decisions on your own. You no longer can. Maybe you were a very decisive person. Maybe you had an executive job and you made decisions all the time. And suddenly you can't even choose what to eat. All right. Making decisions, not being able to make decisions is part of, PTSD from toxic abuse. But it starts within the relationship because you can't make decisions around them because they're the wrong choice because everything you do is wrong. Right. All right. This is a huge one for you. Okay. That might be another good topic too. Making decisions. Well, I have a bunch on that, but we'll see. Can't even choose off a menu. I know. I'm still there. Choices. I've learned coping skills. Maybe I should do how to make a choice. That'd be a good one, right? That's a good topic. I can just talk about, I can make it funny if nothing else. All right. You cannot identify your boundaries because you don't know where they are because they have been pushed so far, at least within the relationship. You cannot identify your boundaries. You don't even know you have them. You don't even know what that means, maybe. Okay. Number 38, you feel responsible for their emotional states. Okay. Number 39, you can't pursue your own dreams. Every time you try and do something that is for you, something you love, every time you try and go to work, every time you try and say you got to work overtime, but it's a project you really want to work on, they will sabotage you. Okay. Every time you try to pursue your dreams, they'll encourage you with smiles on their faces to just, you're so great. You're such a great photographer. You should go do that more. And the second you have a gig to go shoot the photographs, they are sick in bed and need you. They are this, they are that. They're pulling at you to stay with them. They're not letting you move. They're not letting you do anything, or they're belittling you, or they're saying that's stupid, you and your stupid hobby, So they will sometimes build you up and then yank the rug out from under you. And other times is completely sabotage the thing you're trying to do to have your own life. Healthy relationships, people have their own lives as well as the relationship. You cannot be enmeshed and be one thing. The toxic person, your job and your role in their life is to be there Slave, supply. That's it. You're not supposed to have a life. Okay. So you go to everyone for their opinion. You don't trust your own. Ooh, I like this topic. I don't like that you're experiencing it, but I like the topic. Oh, I want someone to please remind me what we said here. Making a choice and trusting your own opinion. Oh, see if I can commit it to memory for 5 more minutes. I don't know that I can. I can try. Okay. So hard when you are the child, having to emotionally fulfill and regulate your parent, isn't it? So I'm going to tell you what I tell everyone in groups, in the coaching groups. This is hard. I challenge you to consider not using that word anymore for yourself, because yes, this is hard. This is all freaking hard. Okay. This is not easy stuff. It's not like you just understand it and wham, it goes away. It's ingrained, it's programmed, right? And it is a challenge. So is climbing a mountain. If you really want to do that, you're going to do it. So is running a marathon. If you want to run a marathon, you're going to train, and it is hard work and you're going to do it. So I challenge you to change that word to something else. This is because otherwise it's like a limiting belief that you can't get past it because it's hard. And I'm not saying you do that, but for a lot of people, they get stuck in the it's so hard. And I would hope for you to be able to get through the it's so hard into the it's hard and I can do it, So I would challenge the use of that word for yourself, if you like that. If you don't, just ignore me. Okay. I was a slave for 61 years. Ew. And some days, ew. Like how I say that. Ew. That's better. Even though I'm free, no contact, I hear the slave masters in my head. Right? Yeah. It's a creating new pathways for your brain takes time, and it's so many places. Our lives they're not one thing. We're not just like all day long, like stamp, and that's it. That's all we do. We have a whole rich life where we do lots of things and we have interactions. So things come up and we get triggered, and there's the voices again. There's the repeating thought patterns, right? Okay. All right. The big one, the big number 40. You lost yourself. You no longer have a sense of who you are. You don't know who you are. You think this is me. And when you look at it, wait a minute. All I'm doing is serving this other person's life. You don't do anything in service to yourself. And you can still be in service to other people in your life and yourself at the same time, and you've lost that. It was so hard. I've moved on, says Anna. I like it. It was so hard. It is. I know it's a figure of speech and it's used a lot. And yeah, it is. I think that the way we speak to ourselves, though, it really affects how our healing goes, how our healing flows, and the way we manifest things into our life. So that's why I said it. It wasn't a criticism or a judgment of you. I know it's hard, and it will continue to be hard. But who cares? Hard is it's hard. I mean, we care, but you know what I mean. Yep. It does. When I say that to myself, I go, "Yep, it's hard." Okay. All right. Words can give life. That actually made me want to cry. I love it. They can. All right. Why am I emotional? I think I need to go. All right. Yeah. All the things I did for other people, were they me or an extension of the narcs? Who am I? What do I love? What do you love, Mo Cowboy, besides tree hugging and your dogs? What do you love, right? I see. Changing the words in our limiting beliefs. It's hard. I am damaged. Changes the beliefs in our minds. Aha. Yes. I think we were talking about that earlier, right? Yes. Changing your beliefs changes your life. It expands your life. It expands your awareness of the situation. It's like, okay, this is how I describe it. This is you when you have a limiting belief, and this is you with all this room around you when you have reframed that belief. And all this room is places to play in life, and there's places to explore and examine and change and grow. If you're like this, there is no room to grow. Does that make sense? You like that? That's a good description? Okay. Okay. That's it, you guys. That's 40, and I just got really all up in your grill. All right. Please, can you read my comment about him not calling, just kept communication? Yes, let me find it. Let me find it. Was it far back, Luna? They hardly ask, how are you? Here we go. They hardly ask, how are you? Also, my narcissist only phone called me. No exaggeration. 3 times in the year and a half I knew him. I should have seen that as a red flag. Did he text? Or was it like no communication? I'm glad we cannot fathom the reason why they couldn't be normal enough to emotionally give and take. He only communicated via text. Okay. Yes. Oh, that's good, Luna. I hadn't thought about that, but actually mine did the same thing. He hated phone calls. Oh, but if he got on the phone with his parents or his best friend or whatever, best friend, whatever, the conversation was endless, as if he didn't not hate the phone. It was control. It was control. I can text, and then I can say you misunderstood me because you just misread the text. You can't read intent in text, but I won't make a phone call and have an actual conversation with your voice. You know what someone that cares about you does? They want to hear your voice. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm just old, which I am. And I will miss the days of rotary phones. I don't miss the charges of having to make long distance phone calls, but I miss the days of rotary phones, right? Why is that? I think it's about control. And I think it's because they don't have a whole lot to express on the phone. And I think when they're talking to someone else that they only talk to once in a while, they can talk about a topic and they can be like, I'm so great, blah, blah, blah. I'm so great, blah, blah, blah about the thing. You know, listen to how much information I have about this thing because me. And then, you know, talk to the person. But if they're talking to you, you represent day-to-day real life interaction, and they don't do that very well. And so texting makes it so they can consider you for 3 seconds and throw the phone down. Okay. And if you misread a text, if you misread intent on a text, they can blame you for misreading it. If you do it over the phone, it's a little harder. If you do it in person, it's really hard because you can see the facial expression, you can see the body language, you can hear the inflection and the tone. I think it's with the hands. Okay. Every time it's weird talking, you guys, when you're live streaming, because I'm looking at the camera, which is like up. Okay. And that's okay. So I'm looking at the camera and that's fine. And every now and then I look down and I'm watching myself talk and I just feel ridiculous as my hands are flying in the air. It's very funny. Okay. Party lines. Oh my gosh. Yes. That would be fun. Okay. Yes. And you make total sense. Good. You're not a traditionalist at heart too. You are a traditionalist at heart too. And so much love there. Uh-huh. Text misread, text in between you didn't get, etc. I don't understand. I'm lost. Okay, you guys, thank you for joining me today. I like the topic of, what did I say? Tell me what it was again. Oh my gosh, you see, 5 minutes, because I have to keep my focus on what I'm talking about, so I can't store the things in my memory when I'm talking. Okay, you're a hand talker, and I can hardly speak without them. I'm usually not, but when I get going, I somehow they just start flying. The Italian comes out of me. All right. Making decisions, and what was the other one? It started with a C, didn't it? I'm gonna have to go back and read the chat. Making decisions, trusting, making decisions with the topic, but there was one more thing. There was one other piece. Trusting your something. I'm going to go back and read it. Closure. That's it. Closure, making decisions. And there was one more thing that went with the making decisions that I think Jeep and Gypsy said. I'm not sure. Closure. Let's find closure. All right, you guys. Before we head out, before we do this, tell me what you struggle with closure, if you have it. Opinion, trust your opinion. Thank you. Look at what a team can do. It can make me remember it all. Yes. Okay. So you're welcome for the laughter. I'm a bit over the top today because I'm happy. Okay. tell me what you are struggling with closure. Real quick here, while I'm giving my ending spiel. Give me some info on your own personal struggles with closure, and what questions you might have about it. For some people, it's not being able to let go because of whatever. Or I don't know. What are you struggling with closure? Okay. And if you don't have anything, that's good. That's okay. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out myself then. All right, you guys. All right. Is struggling with feeling inferior to new supply or a fair person part of closure? It could be, yeah. Because it's not letting go. It's not seeing the narcissist for who they are, and that they are going to abuse whoever that person is, regardless of who they are. So letting go of it is the closure. Like maybe there's something in there that has to do with closure for you. Something in it that like, it's like, I don't know, like if that happened, feeling inferior, the feeling inferior part. Yes. It's the feeling you can't move forward. Okay. You're welcome, Belle. I'm so glad to see you. I've been thinking about you. Thank you for today's live stream and helpful. Good. Okay. Another topic, giving ourselves permission to love and experience joy. I try to do that every day. I'm a cowboy. And yes, I will totally do that as a topic all by itself. I try to give you guys permission every day to give, not that you need my permission, you need to give yourself permission, right? And I try to express it in my own joy. That's why I'm not serious. If I were serious and just sitting here going, the narcissist, blah, 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 we might get really into it and I may get more likes, but that's not helping anyone. It's just feeding the anger, right? Okay. My closure is coming Thursday. He had his formal hearing. I don't have to be there. Excellent. Let us know how that goes, Frankendoll. I will be thinking of you. I know you probably disagree, but I think you manage your notes and chat really well. Thank you. You enjoy life. Good. Thank you. It's a very strange self-taught pattern here of how I do this. And it seems to work because I can keep myself on track. Thank you for saying that. I'm glad because I can't tell what other people are thinking unless they tell me, right? I read somewhere where it said it depends on how you allow others to treat you, that they will treat you someone else differently and with respect if that person has boundaries and self-love. If the person is not a narcissist, if the person is a narcissist, they will do everything they can and eventually will break down those boundaries and create a loss of self-respect for that person. They will devalue. It won't look the same. It may take longer. It won't look the same. Or the person may figure it out and leave them. Okay, because they can't have a rational, just look at the argument part. You can't, they might for a while, like I remember for about 2 years, I remember he would take the constructive criticism, not even constructive criticism, just things that go, you know, when you're with someone a lot, things happen and I could take it and he would take it and it seemed, but if it was anything real, like bigger than little, if that makes sense, if it was anything, couldn't take it, shut down, you know, completely lose his composure, yeah. So, because I can say that, yeah, and I think, yeah, I'm just rambling now, but okay. Oh, good. Yes. Join the group, join the coaching group. If anyone needs, Belle's bringing up the coaching group. If anyone needs help with anything more one-on-one and more one-on-one, group on one, or one-on-one, there's coaching help available. And the group coaching is ongoing. It starts at the beginning of every month, but it's ongoing. And if you join mid-month, I prorate it I continue you into the next month. So you get the 4 to 5 weeks, depending how many weeks are falling in that month. Anyway, I make it 15 a session. How's that? Okay. And anyway, the information is in the main description. Currently, there is a coaching group for moving on beyond narcissistic abuse. thriving in your life, working with things that are past traumas and moving beyond them with positivity and finding yourself again. Okay, let's put it that way. That's the one that's linked there right now. I have to go back in and add one. There's a trauma bond group going for people who are still in narcissistic abusive relationships or have just recently been discarded or left and are still feeling extremely trauma bonded. I'm not talking, we all feel trauma bonds for a long time. Okay, but I mean freshly, newly, or still in. And I wanted to keep it that way so that people who are with narcissists are not so that the group that are no longer with a narcissist can focus forward without, and there's still space for the people who are still wanting to focus forward but are still with them. In other words, it's two different things going on. I'm talking too much. Anyway, there's two groups. So the second one is not in there right now. I'll add it in later. If I forget, you can always email me. If it's not there, email me and ask what groups are available, and I will let you know and where they are and what times they are and all that good stuff. Robin can advocate for group coaching with me. She says, okay. All right. I love my groups. I'm sorry. I do. What is considered a long time trauma bond? Well, if you've been out, if you feel like you're not letting go, you may want to be in the trauma bond group for a while, right? Even just a month to get some. The point of the trauma bonding group is to focus on self-care, see where it is you're stuck, trauma bonded to this person, like what part of you is really hooked on it, really understanding what trauma bonds are, validating the negative and toxic experience that you had, talking about the narcissist. So in the other group, we're trying not to talk about them. We're trying to talk about us. Let's put it that way. Trauma bond group is more for if you really need to talk about what happened in the narc relationship, talk about that narcissist, vent it. We vent a little bit in the other group about it, but the focus is us. And the focus is on letting go and moving forward just on you. Okay. Ooh, somebody's texting me. All right. So, okay. That's what that's about. All right. And you would like to join Luna. You in the main description, it's over on Life Makeover Academy. I can't speak the link. So in the main description of the video, the main, like right below there, there's a link and it says for group coaching, go here. If you can't find it, email me, Coach Lise C, CoachLisec @gmail.com. If you ever can, it's $60 a month, which comes down to $15 a week. If you need it broken down week by week, just email me and I will invoice week by week so that it's doable for you. It's as low as I could get it and still be able to be present. It also comes with a messenger chat on Facebook where the group members can support each other through the day. And I do my best to come in a few times a day or more and answer questions. It's not ongoing coaching. I can't be there 24/7, but I can be there as much as I can, right? And help out. And then there's a weekly meeting that we meet through Zoom chat. That's how it works. Okay. That's it. You're welcome, Luna. I look forward to meeting you if you join up. How long are the sessions and how often? The messenger is 24/7. Okay. I am not on there 24/7. Okay. Obviously I'm here right now and I have a life, so can't do that. But I check in many times a day. And if it's ever urgent, there's access. Okay. But everyone else can chat amongst each other and form friendships and support through that. The meetings are once a week. The trauma bond group is smaller right now, so it only meets once a week. We're meeting Tuesdays at 11 Pacific because we had to accommodate some time. So I'm going to change the time. Anyway, 11 a.m. Pacific on Tuesdays. I can add more times if people join and they need an evening time. Okay. The other group, which is the one that's in the link right now, I call it Inner Transformation Group. Thriving, right? It's a thriving group. That one is Wednesdays at 3:30 Pacific and Fridays at 11 a.m. Sorry guys, if you're in that group, I need it to be 11:30. How's that? Right now it's at 11 Fridays Pacific. And I still have to add one more evening time to that. So, and they're 1 hour long. If there is a lot of people and no one shows up for one and there's a lot of people in another, it extends a little bit. So I try to give everybody enough time to talk. Let's put it that way. Enough time to talk concisely about what they're working on that week. That's how it works. Okay. All right. All right. That's all the info I got on that. You're not overstepping, Robin. You can say whatever you want. Even if it was a criticism of it, I would take it. I might be like publicly, but that's okay. It's okay. Robin is saying the messenger chat is great. People who get you in your situation 24/7, right? With it being monitored, because that's what's helpful, with it being moderated. And we have boundaries within the group too. That's the point. Okay. So, okay. I think that's it for today. I'm really rambling about the group, but God, I love my groups. So, okay. And the people in them. That's it. It can become close for people to finally feel connected. And it's not for everyone. Not everyone enjoys that kind of thing, and not everyone gets the same thing out of it. So there's that too. Okay, you guys. All right. If you have not hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up. Join me Thursday. I will try to do closure Thursday. I'll try to do that closure Thursday. We'll all have the closure and we'll be done, right? I wish. Can you just get message chat while in group, or does it continue on after? While in group, but it's a month. I can add something where it's super cheap and keep the messenger. Yes, I can totally add that, where it's more affordable, because you're not doing the coaching part or the intensive coaching part. So yeah, that's a good idea. And yes, I can do that. All right. Like I said, if you would like texting notification of my going live, text me at 33222. Put the word Lise Live, LISE, hit send, and I will be texting you about 10 minutes prior to being live every time. Thank you guys for being here and our extra long session today. And I'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye. And there we go. Bye.